make sure that this happened.
Every season we have those teams that are like that. Oh, back in the early 2017, it was Dignitas, Fnatic for a couple months were like that as they were constantly getting their wins in. This season it's Team Liquid and maybe a little bit of leftovers, but they did really well last week. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Infernal Shrines is ready to go. We'll check out this draft here and see what our teams are wanting to move into. Gul'dan still pretty popular here if we want Trick to pull that back, but they've been shying away from that Gul'dan, occasionally pulling him out when they want to, but it seems like Hanzo is currently Crosby's main bay. Crossbow.
How is Trick going to deal with Garrosh again?
Ban it.
Once more, it's so weird to me that, I mean, of course, there's a couple of heroes and a couple of players that had a huge impact on the last game. I'm not trying to say that there's only one player that wins these matches. That's definitely not the case. We had, for example, on the last map, we definitely saw Stukov having a huge impact. Splendor played fantastic and set so much up for his team. But at the same time, a lot of it really finally centers around Garrosh. And the big question for me was really, why don't they react to this? I mean, Dignitas did that in the middle of the series and then was able to turn it around. And now we have Team Liquid also reacting to what's happening in these games and trying to lessen the impact that sport really has. Honor.
Crossbow.
Oh.
Diablo and Medivh coming out 1 and 2 pick. And that is a scary opening. Mostly because of the shrine phase and how elongated it is. You get those portals trying to find that prime opportunity to pick a target and take them out. Diablo by himself is good on this battleground. Medivh by himself is good on this battleground. But when you bring the two together, dynamic duo.
There's one thing that worries me a bit.
What is that?
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, actually.
You're wrong.
Okay.
Sasked.
We haven't really seen Alex play any Sonya in a while. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm happy with that. I was really worried that they just don't play Sonya at this moment. And Alex was usually a huge fan of the hero, but at this point it just like felt he's not a big fan and they didn't play it last week. And so I was a bit worried that they wouldn't prioritize her highly enough. And that would have given team either resulted in a ban on Tricked's side or Liquid with another great pick for this map specifically. So I'm really happy that we're seeing Sonya picked right now. Malfurion, of course, makes a lot of sense as well. Could even see a Stukov ban on Tricked's side now if they feel that it's necessary. Team Liquid, after watching the previous series, already thinking about the Tassadar ban makes a lot of sense with Sonya in particular. We've been highlighting this a bit in the last series. But yeah, so I really like that Trick now went into Sonya as an early pick. I really think that's a great choice for him.
Some of you may be wondering why that Tassadar ban, as mentioned the Hanzo already, but maybe you're thinking they could pick it up for the Diablo themselves and go for the Tassadar Force Wall and the Diablo combo. Well, you already have shields coming in there from Medivh, and usually you get the picks that you want. And the best part about portals is that you're able to position how you want them, so you can get those engagements around the walls as you need be. So Tassadar being banned out allows for Team Liquid to transition in what they would like here, as Malthael gets taken out for Tricked Esport.
Okay, Liquid. What are we gonna have now? I would expect Stukov to be taken again.
Sure.
I'm actually a bit surprised that Stukov wasn't banned. And yeah, Stukov and Gul'dan. If they ever get that combo off, that's just gonna be death on the other side of the map.
Oh man. Team Liquid draft.
Yeah, I mean, if at any point that combo lands, that's just going to be dead Tricked heroes everywhere.
And the best part too is they don't have to like just use that combo to win here. You have Gul'dan, who clears out the shrines incredibly well. Diablo controls the shrines. Stukov's there to help out. Like, the threat of the combo is terrifying in itself because they don't have to pop it out just to win a team fight.
Yeah.
Like, they're already in a good spot. Team Liquid gonna be looking for a top lane pretty soon here, but over to Tricked. How do they intend to mess with said combo that's coming their way, but also control the portals? So far, they've already got a decent portal gatekeeper, if you will, Malfurion. Junkrat can come in to play here once again, but then you're starting to become a little bit too poke-oriented. Then you can go for full meat shields if you want. Maybe pick up a strong warrior here. Muradin could come to mind. Try and hold that front line and deal with it.
It's a good chance that we have non-Tyrell coming out this time. Okay, Tyrell MIF. We're going to see Leoric now on the last pick.
That's what I was thinking. Something that can be safe. Clear out lanes, allow your 4-man to dominate because your 4-man is powerful.
And also, after 13 and 16, is able to reduce the damage output on the shrines themselves.
This...
And they're taking their sweet... There's a couple of options for them, of course. I personally would think that Leoric is definitely one that they are currently considering, but you could also again, play around Blaze.
Yeah.
Matter of the fact is, Sonya is going to do really well in the solo lane one way or another. It's very rough to take Sonya down in the setup. But with Medivh floating around, you have definitely a situation where you can just sustain that, and once that it focuses more on the Shrine attacks themselves, it's highly important that the offlaner has an impact there. So yeah, they go for Leoric, and I really like that choice. Of course, there were a couple of alternatives, but Leoric seems to be a great way to go about this, especially after 13. The damage reduction alone is already worth it.
You're also looking for a solo laner that if you have to, you can push on the outside of the map and have your solo laner deal with that Shrine. Leo does that, Sonya does that. So good pickup here for the 5th pickup of Team Liquid. I think I look at this draft right now, and I think I really, really like Team Liquid. There is a Maya Factor, always getting that pick that you're not expecting to go over to the opposing side. You can have that kill come in there and be able to delete one target and then go from there with the Warden's Gate. But I don't know. I think I like Team Liquid a little bit more here than Tricky Sport.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Sonya, maybe the deciding factor here?
I mean, when we saw Maiev on the other side for Team Liquid, it was with Stukov, so you always had the situation where they just made sure that the target couldn't escape, a flip, then the tether, and a back and forth. I feel like this setup that we're seeing for them is more so focused around Ethereal Sanctification after you get the cage up. So that can also be really powerful, but in general, just looking at that setup, Team Liquid's lineup terrifies me.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying here. Looking over on the right side, maybe you can catch on Medivh, you can get the Poison Spear moving in. You have your Malfurion Twilight Dreams. If you catch it when they come to the portal at the right time, then you can punish them pretty aggressively. There are options here. It's just a little bit harder to catch your opponent out of position and land them perfectly. And the way that Trick is playing today, I'm a little worried that they're not going to be able to do that because Team Liquid seems to be on fire.
Yeah. On the last map, Trick didn't look too bad, but at the same time, we're still missing a bit of that coordination that we've seen in the past from them. And Liquid, as we said, is just coming into this from a very great series against Dignitas, and they look like they finally found that stability that we were asking for weeks now. And if that's the case, then this is going to be a very tough series for Trick to pull off.
Game 3. Hasawavs has Medivh, Eternal for Leoric, Splinter playing Stukov, Nurok on Gul'dan, and Sport Billy playing Diablo.
And over to the right side of Infernal Shrines, we are having Crosby playing Hanzo, Alex the Pro G on Sonya, Riverball on Tyrael, Make on Maiev, and Grand Paquette on Malfurion.
So we'll watch as these two clash. Diablo will be the one to watch here until we get to level 10. Corruption will be trying to finish up for that Gul'dan. 10, of course, being great for Team Liquid. The Horrify coming online, Medivh portals in, Apocalypse popping out, and Tombs will lock down a target. It goes on and on here. Silences from Stukov as well. Church Esport, kind of curious to see if they can find a couple kills here in their early game. Maiev leading the charge. Will they have enough CC though? Malfurion Root will be helpful in that regard.
Also, again, we have a bit of an adjustment in Leoric's build. I'm going on for this quite a bit because it's really interesting how that happens right now. No Austin's Renewal this time, but Consume Vitality on the same map. And that's mainly because we have now 3 melee heroes on the side of Team Liquid. So the extra survivability that you get if you really get those hits in is pretty solid. And of course, the cooldown reduction itself is already worth it. So pretty nice setup here for Eternal. It's going to be interesting to see how much of an impact he's going to have on this game. I really think that after level 13, he's going to be one of the main heroes to really shut down what they have. Ooh, nice tether here. Really good one. Eternal not falling after all, but that was a close call. And Alex actually nearly died to the tower.
Very close there. I actually didn't know that the Wraith Walk didn't cancel out the tether. I actually haven't played Leo into Maiev.
I think it just ended.
Wow, interesting. Well, Team Liquid takes the time from the gank in the top lane to grab the Mercenary camps in the bottom lane. A good reaction to their opponents attempting to go for the kill. Eternal staying alive too makes it all the better as well. Maiev going to start hurting Merc camps as well, but he needs to be careful. Diablo and crew can rotate over there and try to force the situation and take it away from them. Or they can just start their own. Team Liquid playing safe. As Medivh actually takes over that top lane while Leo works on healing up.
Yeah, Leo makes his way. Like, Leo is rotating between 2 lanes, and Medivh is just granting vision, making sure there's no ganks happening, and always just like floats around. So he's just a vision bot at this point. A legal map hack.
A vision bird. A legal map hack. Speaking of map hacking, Alex Proji and Make attempt to put some damage on the Eternal, but Hasawavs is here to protect him constantly.
How does that make sense? Like, I was like, okay, interesting. Let's see where he goes with this.
I had nothing. Oh, I know. Okay, here's how it is. The map hacking is done by an observer who noticed the gank was going in the top lane and was able to show it to the viewers at home. Incredible map capping from Brosidon, our observer here at the HGC. Absolute legend. Saved.
Yeah, saved. Confirmed. Yeah, level 4 in play now, and that gives us Battle Rage again. Okay, both of the teams straight with the Siege Giant camp. So the first... I already like on the first shrine, even in the early game, Team Liquid's present on the shrine itself. Even with Sonya floating around, I really like what they have here. On Diablo, we have 50 souls. It's a fair chunk, not as much as he wanted to. Nurok in trouble for just a few seconds, but there's still a portal around by Medivh. So Maiev definitely trying to put on the pressure here.
Yeah.
But Hazops is on point up to now, making sure that he always has the protection ready, gets a quick portal in, and saves them. And here it just comes Nurok. With all of that damage that cooldown can push out, Diablo going in, putting Alex into an awkward spot, and once again, the portals are just there. Maiev not getting enough done, Hazops already pushed low, but they still hold a really cool position on the shrine right now. But Trick Esports is the one that have the lead on the objective.
Main issue too is that top lane's pushing in, Malfurion has to head over there, and was thinking about clearing it out, but with Team Liquid stepping up and starting to actually contest the amount of minions picked up for Trick Esports, Trick comes back, and Sonya goes in for an engage. There goes the combo as Alex Aproji is thrown near Gul'dan. Nurok turns around with a couple of Fel Flames and gets members low. 31 to 26. They are going all out here for this initial Arcane Punisher.
And Eternal nearly dying there, but just barely saving himself. Now, the Punisher goes over to Trick, but there's still a really good stacking progress on the side of Team Liquid. Medivh alone already sits at 20 stacks.
Oh, wow.
So that was actually really good for him. And we have also 14 stacks for Echoed Corruption. So Nurok himself will go down and get a fair chunk in as well. But of course, Liquid right now, they have the early level 7 talent as well. That makes it a bit easier to defend. Portal is already there. The immediate root on the ground. So heads up play that we're seeing from Garen Barketta, not allowing Team Liquid to go for any kind of shenanigans, any kind of engages against their backline. So job well done.
Leone's get up here to this top lane. There's 1, 2 minions going to be cleared up. Leo should be there quick enough there to keep soaking as Team Liquid extends their lead as they move towards level 8. Team Liquid also doing a really good job of controlling these mercenary camps. They have been on point with this so far. This will be the 4th one of the game for them.
Yeah, Liquid is actually in a spot where Leoric at the top needs to be really careful. Maiev just came in to try and get a gank going, but they couldn't take him down, and now we have even a 3-man setup there, as we saw for a short duration of time. Malfurion joining the fun as well. So a lot of resources were committed to that top lane, but Eternal stayed safe, never really pushed out and made sure that he doesn't get dropped there. So they always communicated that there's no vision on some heroes, and that normally puts the solo laner in a spot where he wants to be better safe than sorry, and that's exactly what Eternal did.
And the 4-man's doing exactly what they need to do. They opened up the turrets to the bottom and got them a little bit more experience as well. So if Eternal stays alive and Team Liquid's able to offset the map and experience, they will continue to keep doing that. Trick Esports still not finding that kill they want as they continue to pressure out that Leoric. Trick now answering back with a little bit of aggression here to the south, but already Team Liquid has gotten the mercs and they have pulled away. Trick seems to be fishing, but they're just not catching anything right now. Yeah,
Liquid has taken the lead even though they lost the first objective. So they've done a better job at soaking lane experience, and we have them again with the aggressive moves. And right now, Sport Billy is on 88 stacks, and that's of course much better for him than before. So his hit point pool is just steadily increasing, and that puts him into a very comfortable spot here. Especially since he's not only protected by Stukov, he has Medivh behind him as well. It's fantastic for him.
Yeah, it'll definitely be hard to kill him. Him and Gul'dan, a little bit protected here, able to walk away with those heals. Hasob's even coming down here for this well, trying to clear it up, and they want to kill this well before the next shrine phase. It looks like they'll get it pretty easily.
Yeah, then they can simply move out again with the help of Medivh. And let's not forget, level 10 is actually what we were waiting for the entire time, because this is really the setup where Team Liquid becomes even scarier than before. We have now Apocalypse, Entomb, and we are very likely to see Leyline Seal as a heads up.
Do you think we're going to get that Polybomb?
I mean, I think you could. Like, I was thinking about it. I feel like you can also go into Polybomb here. Both of them would work. The setup alone, if you try to go for any kind of wombo combo setup on the shrines, would work. But right now, with all the CC that you have, with the silence that comes out of Stukov, and then of course the Horrify that we see through Gul'dan, you could go for both. In this case, it is going to be Leyline into Apocalypse, and if then Stukov just hits one good lurking arm, that should be death and disaster on Trick's side.
Well, it's time for the Shrine to activate, and Team Liquid is already set up to be around the area. Sport Billy and crew clearing out the bottom should be able to start dealing with the fog either to the north or on the right side. Crosby poking a little bit here, but Team Liquid starts the race and they jump up in minions, moving up to 8-0 as the top minions also are colliding. So we're definitely going to have a 5-on-5 here in the bottom.
Eternal immediately being attacked.
Silence.
Here's the silence and the apocalypse, and this is already looking bad for Trick as they lose 1, they lose 2. Maiev and Sonya are both down, and that didn't even...
That was dirty!
That didn't even force Medivh to go into his ley line.
Yeah, exactly. They still have the ley line up. The entomb into the silence, making it impossible for Sonya to escape, or even the Maiev. They get the kill right away, and Gul'dan just completely destroys what's stuck in the entomb. Team Liquid with 2 easy kills and an easy Punisher. They're looking for more too as they go towards Crosby.
Yeah, and they are actually starting to get him. Body blocks alone would put Grandpa Keta into an awkward spot right now. There's the silence, there's the slow. They're going in, and down he goes. Malfurion is dead, and that's 3 kills against 0. Liquid walking away with a level lead, increasing it even after they dropped the fort. And they are in a fantastic spot now. And we come back to the draft. This is the big problem. A great opening with Diablo Medivh, and then just emphasized by taking Stukov as well. We are 8 minutes into the game, and Liquid is already looking like they grab all the momentum that is possibly available for a team on Inferno Shrines.
And they're looking for another kill there. Make does a good job of teleporting right when the Punisher jumps in. Had he gotten locked down, Diablo would have gone in there and locked down a target. And if that's a kill, something that could have been a keep. So Trick Esports stops the bleeding for now, but they bled a lot. 13 to almost 12 for them. A full talent lead for Team Liquid, and they're opening up the middle of the map as well. Yeah,
they're just dominating this right now. 13, they're grabbing 14 any moment. 3 kills against 0, and now they are starting to jump onto the fountain here as well. So they take the sustain away from the mid lane, and I mean, this is just brutal for Trick. Trick even went into Tranquility on Malfurion because they're realizing once that the jump happens, once they go on us, a Twilight Dream won't do anything for us. We need to have more sustain during these fights, and Tranquility is the only thing that really helps. A Sanctification would, of course, also be fantastic, but it's going to be really rough for them to make all of that happen. Now, Trick thinks that their only chance is to be aggressive themselves and maybe try and force a fight somewhere. We have Leoric up at the top lane, and know that, so they're using a 5 versus 4 situation, or trying to force it to see if they can get a couple of camps on the map and maybe even get a kill. But it's really rough. 1.5 level lead, Trick has their 13. But Liquid is going to be very happy to just play a bit more passive for now and make sure that they get level 16 before the next shrine starts.
Exactly. With Trick bringing Sonya down and showing on that bottom left Merc camp, they showed their hand. Leo is just pushing top lane, chunking down the support, putting down a half health. Eventually, Make has to come back in and peel and defend that lane. The moment somebody shows in top lane, Eternal is going to back up once again, and that allows Team Liquid to start getting aggressive on the field. They deal with the middle lane. They have Gul'dan pushing in the bottom. Team Liquid on a roll right now and on their way to 16.
Yeah, and again, they look so much stronger than they did before. They really improved. The break, when they didn't go to the Western Clash, was definitely used by them to just talk things through and improve overall. If they can sustain that level of play throughout the entire season, that would be fantastic for them. And I could definitely see them qualifying through the playoffs for the mid-season brawl if they are able to bring that level of play every single day also against the top teams that we have. And that just makes me even more scared because like predictions of who's going to the mid-season brawl from the European side are at this point kind of insane. I mean, we all know, or we all assume that Dignitas is going to do it, but there's now 3-4 teams that are going to make those plays for the last 2 remaining spots.
Everything is up in the air, and speaking about being up in the air, Rimmer gets tossed over the shoulder for Sport Billy. Rimmer is able to escape, but Team Liquid, while they're going for these combos, one, they're just building out that quest there for Diablo. He has 2 of the 5 charges he needs, but they're also building towards level 16, and with the Shrine spawning now, in the next 25 seconds, Trick Esports, again, will have to decide, do we just want to go ahead and soak during this entire phase, defend passively, or do we want to try and fight at a disadvantage? Right now, they may have to fight at a disadvantage as Team Liquid is actually getting aggressive on this night camp.
Yeah, 16 is there, and that's also a closed-up space again. There's the silence. Alex goes in deep at this point, and they're starting to go for it. Hanzo's arrow is already out. Apocalypse is being used, zoning out the backline in this case. And here comes Make, dropping low, so is Grandpa Keta, but Tranquility is being used, and the Sanctification. That's what Trick needed. But the Leyline Seal is also in play. Malfurion falls just after it's over. Diablo, on the other hand, the counter kill takes place, and that put Trick back onto the board here.
They put him onto the board, but Diablo will be back. Portal's out. Team Liquid able to escape. Trick gets a little bit of experience there. They trade out a Malfurion for that. Shrine is active and available, though, and Team Liquid will make steps to clearing that out.
Yeah. I mean, Diablo having the 100 souls, losing them and now being back in play is, of course, the big game changer here. But that was actually, that fight went better for Trick than it was supposed to go. And that came down to a fantastic, like, well-timed Tranquility and also a really well-timed Sanctification.
Let's see if Trick can do it again. With that kill, they open the map and they get 16.
It's a 16 talent, yeah, exactly. 16 talents that we are having now on the Liquid side. Those are, again, insanely powerful. We're once again talking about Echoed Corruption and going straight into the level 16 talent, into Ruinous Affliction. We have 23 stacks right now on the Echoed Corruption. Hazob's, by the way, is at 37 stacks. So it was super important for him to stay alive during that last engagement that we saw there. Hitting 39 now, so one more and he's going to be fine. He's going to complete his own quest.
Fort at the top right will get cleaned up by that Night Camp that was grabbed earlier. Punisher, 39's floating around. Team Liquid content with the waiting before they move in with this Punisher. They have a couple of options. Either wait for Trick Esports to come up and start that, or they wait for their waves to be pushed forward, and then they'll bring the rest of the squad to the top lane. That's what they were doing here as they get middle pushing.
Hazob's is still sitting there. They want the camp as well. They want to push with the double camp and the Punisher, and they're getting this one. So Trick has a really tough push to answer for. This could still mean keep here, easily.
We'll watch the Medivh portal here.
Yeah. The Medivh portal alone would give them the aggression, and there it is already. Cooldowns are also ready, and that's the thing that frightens me the most. Punisher jumped in deep. Here comes Alex trying to engage. Hazob's completing his quest in time for the fight. And there comes Remaballer. Already low. Horrifies in. Maiev is nearly down. Make barely survives. Leyline Seal coming in. And they're trying to go for Remaballer again. Pushing him. Oh my god.
Sport Billy with 3. Bangs against the wall during that entire fight. Alex the Pro G attempting to escape, but he is definitely being taken out. Entombed to seal his grave. The keep will be the next target to go down. Now, can a Team Liquid in the game here? They don't have a major auto attacker, but they have 30 seconds before Sonya and Tyrael pops up.
Yeah, and also level 19 any second. Again! Oh my god, if Make falls here, he barely jumps out with the Vault of the Wardens. Make is still low. Eternal was chasing him. The keep is down. If Make falls there, they could have maybe even tried to go for core. 19 versus 17. 6 kills against 1. Liquid is just absolutely on fire, using the wombo potential that they have every single time. Also, just cornering Alex. He had no place to escape anymore. The portal was set up to deny him the escape path down to the bottom. And then Leoric even starting like, you know what, whatever, I'm just going to drop the Entomb.
It's been a good day for Sport Billy, too. Garrosh play, game 1 and game 2. Wonderful. Game 3, his Diablo being instrumental for getting those kills. Portal comes out, Diablo able to start walking away. He has been slowed. Trick is looking to force a fight, and they still have that Dragon's Arrow. If Sport Billy gets low enough, they can open up. But Team Liquid is able to get home towards safety, and they'll be near the fort.
Sport Billy has 70 stacks now. So he's not quite on the 100 yet, so he has no revive available. But he still is looking at a very solid hit point.
Medivh went to go push that top lane out, trying to get 20, but also get those catapults towards the core. Trick Esport pulling full aggression, knowing that they will be behind a talent tier soon. While they're on even footing, they're hoping to open this wall a little bit. And it looks like they'll do so. Medivh doing the best to push on the top still here, as Team Liquid will play safe. And just clear with the Gul'dan that they have.
7,000 hit points on Diablo at this point.
That's a lot of health points.
Yeah, it's really solid. Especially if you have a Medivh behind you that first of all helps you out with the portal when you need it, but also has the shield, of course, up and ready. 20. This is rough. Entomb with silence now as well, buried alive.
Medivh's going to scout this out here, and Team Liquid might just go for a full fight. Watching Sport Billy. Here
They
goes the Leyline
Oh
Seal.
my god, that's
going to
be a disaster. And there we go. Here comes the silence. Buried alive is in. Hanzo is dead immediately. Eternal is on Malfurion. Alex is just pushed back by the shot. Warden's cage come down, but Splendor can easily escape. And they are still on Make. So far, only one has died. I'm actually impressed by Trick being able to keep themselves alive for this long and sustain themselves. But Sport Billy is just waiting for the cooldowns to come back so that he can go in.
He goes in. There goes the bolt into the combo. Looking at Rimmer. Rimmer, Eldruin's out. And Trick Esports actually only loses 1 during that entire phase. It's going to be their Hanzo, which is unfortunate.
But I'm amazed that they didn't lose 3 here.
I expected Malfurion to be dead. 100%.
Yeah.
Once the silence came out on the Entomb, locked into the corner, I assumed he would be picked off, but Grandpa played well, danced around that Sonya. And with the pressure from Maiev, Team Liquid had to kite away, and that allowed for Malfurion not to get poked off.
His Sanctification was Sanctification was also never used in this fight. I think I interrupted, but that was just... I really expected they would lose more. With Buried Alive also coming in, and yeah, just Gul'dan alone I would have expected to just wreck them completely after this setup. Gul'dan currently sitting at 37,000 damage, but still, if you compare that to Hanzo, it's just nothing. Hanzo is at 57k. That's actually nuts.
The poke from Hanzo has always been an annoying thing to deal with, and Strict Esports thinks this is their chance. They have to fight here with an Arcane Punisher coming up. They feel they're going to lose the game, but a Leyline Seal will stop their aggression. There's the Entomb. Malfurion is the target. He gets locked down. He'll pop out the Ice Block. Can he escape? Nope! Sportfully puts him into a wall, and Eternal just making space here as Make eventually falls.
Sport Billy just bodying that backline. My F goes down, and so does Malfurion. They try to go for Rema Baller. Another easy pick here. Sport Billy is just absolutely on a roll right now. First he got to play his Garrosh, and that already showed, but now we're seeing him with 4 kills. Nurok has 4 kills on Gul'dan, and the rest was just Sport Billy pushing people around the entire time like a bully and just throwing them into walls. Great play here by him. Alex, in the meantime, is having a bit of a vacation on the left side, trying to get away.
This is what a winning base looks like. They're all intact. Look at that. Alex the Prodigy takes out a well 2, gets his consolation prize, waiting for his teammates to respawn here as Tricked Esport will have to defend this massive push coming in the bottom lane, but there's an Entomb, and
oh my god.
There was a Hanzo.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that was something. I didn't know what exactly it was.
I mean, it looks like a bug now on the ground. Completely splashed as Team Liquid goes straight for the core.
Buried Alive. Eternal just having a massive... Again, a massive ult here, gets the Buried Alive in. And in comes Sport Billy, just pushing them from the left to the right. Tranquility, Grand Paquette trying to keep his teammates alive, but you can already see the core here. Team Liquid dropping the sprays, and the core is falling. Yes, Diablo is dead, but does that really change anything? That Punisher alone is just like wrecking them here. And we have another kill through Nurok against Maiev. I mean, this is... Liquid, they take it. Very impressive here today. And they take this with a 3-0 against Strict Esports.
Team Liquid coming out in week 6 looking pretty solid against Dignitas Fall 3-2, but today they come out with a 3-0 over Tricked Esports. Team Liquid seems to have found their footing in this meta. Here's the funny thing though, meta changes next week with new patches.
So far it looks good for them.
It does look good for them.
And, I mean, we came in and we said we could see this being a 5-mapper, but also a 3-0 sweep. And that's exactly...
It's definitely what happened here. Team Liquid came out and brought the 3-0. Don't worry, I got you covered, Caldor. Go ahead and take a sip of water. Feel good, man. We don't want you to be sick. Yeah, we thought today would be going all the way to a Game 5, or there would be a 3-0 either way. It was more of just a question of which teams would show up for both teams. Team Liquid showed up in dominant fashion, and Tricked Esports seems to be following up in their slump that we saw last week. Now, with that being said, Tricked Esports will have a chance to redeem themselves. We got more games coming for them, but let's go ahead and check out a replay and see how exactly those fights kept unfolding. This is a fight that we had around level 10 here, and we're going to watch this amazing Entomb into a Silence. We were scared of the Leyline into the APOC, but look, Silence put down Diablo, ready to pop his APOC as well, and lock down those targets in this Entomb, and Nurok, watch him as he dishes out the damage.
Yeah, now of course Diablo can also just simply charge in any second. Here comes the APOC, starts to go in, and that is just getting crazy. Horrify also stacked on top of it too. So there's so much to see happening that there's very little that can actually happen on the part of them. And the entire time you just saw the silence happen against Tyrael. He had no chance to even drop the Sanctification.
Just great coordination between all of them there. I mean, there is a chance that that can actually go really wrong if you're not able to land down that Entomb. Maybe the Horrify, they suddenly spread out a little bit. That silence that has been brought down initially isn't quite there. But Team Liquid definitely practicing that and finding those kills allowed for them to really take a lead in this series. And very similar to game number 1, they just held that lead the entire duration.
Yeah, and for me, Liquid's front line really did exceptionally well there. Not only... I mean, Sport Billy, of course, was very flashy in a lot of the plays that he made, but also in Eternal, with a lot of good choices here on all the heroes he played. And then you see Splendor just, I mean, he was doing so much. Saving everybody on Tomb of the Spider Queen against the Tracer attacks that we had through Marke. Really doing well, keeping House Ops, of course, for example, like alive a couple of times. But yeah, the front line, especially Sport Billy, if you give him his heroes, then you are in trouble. And I feel that Trick just tried to react a little bit too late to the dominance that we see Sport Billy push out when he has Garrosh, especially after Liquid playing last week already around the same heroes as a priority choice, I feel they could have tried to adapt to it a little bit faster, as Dignitas did. Dignitas showed, okay, pick those heroes away, makes it a bit easier for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see more Garrosh bans this weekend, especially against Diamond Skin, with Robodoba having his display of the Garrosh last week. In fact, he was my MVP of the weekend, and he's just completely played very well on that character and set up Diamond Skin for those kills.
Yeah, and that triggered me that nobody reacted to that. And everybody was like, it's fine, we're going to give him the hero over and over.
Was it
again.
roundabout trigger or what kind of rating?
Not quite on the same.
All right, well, we're getting ready to get set up for Nurok. He is currently setting up his phone call, and we'll ask him about today's victories. But I got to say, I'm happy to see Team Liquid in a spot for 2 weeks straight now where they have shown the same level of play for a total of now, 8 games? Yep. Very excited to see that.
No, I can only agree. And again, it makes the situation in Europe super interesting because going into the playoffs, or a lot of the teams right now, just aim to get a good playoff spot. And then from that point on, try and go into the MSB. And we get more and more teams that are super competitive with the top. So yeah, it just adds to the entire intensity that we have in the league.
Oh, speaking of super competitive, we have a Nurok here. Nurok from Team Liquid with a big 3-0 over Trick Esports. Nurok, it seems like the boys have found their rhythm here. How does it feel to actually be on the same page? Because there was a lot of inconsistent play from you guys in the past.
I mean, to be honest, it feels good to be finally here to do an interview again. It has been some time because I remember back then when I said the Liquid Curse didn't hit us, and then we didn't do an interview for like 5 or 6 weeks. So
this is actually a new setting. This is nice. Is that you drawing Sylvanas in the back?
No, that's from my girlfriend.
But looks
I
great.
did do a small one.
Tell her it looks amazing, because that's a really good Sylvanas.
It's not done yet.
It looks good already. I'm just saying, it's like 10 cents out of mine. I'm sending you over to Caldor because I'm going to look at that Marvel back there. That's a great Sylvanas.
Okay, the first question that I have, is that actually Sylvanas? That seems more like Valera.
It is Sylvanas. It is Sylvanas.
Come on, Caldor. Come on, man.
Hey, I don't play as much Sylvanas this year, so I wouldn't know. First of all, I mean, really well played. We were asking last week already if you guys can bring the consistency that we've been talking about a lot. You showed great games against Dignitas, and we just heard from Sport Billy earlier that you guys, even though you lost, still felt that you played well, so I'm really happy to hear that. What has changed? Where did this come from now? You guys didn't go to the Western Clash. You were super disappointed with that. You said from the beginning of 2018, we want to go to the offline events. What has changed to put you guys into a position where now we are seeing you just put out constantly high-level play? Is it the meta, or is there just some mental aspect to it?
So I think before week 1, we actually had a very good, we found the meta, kinda. It was Garrosh, Medivh, Diablo, like always said, and we were kind of one of the first teams who really settled in the meta, kinda. We also changed our drafting on shot calling positions quite a bit. Like in split 1, is it phase 1? In the first 5 play weeks, I would say. Billy was our main drafter and main shot caller, and we found some inconsistency with that. So we changed it up. Eternal is now the main shot caller and the main drafter. I think it's a bit harder to do on the off lane to shot call for the 4-man. It requires a lot of map awareness and feeling for the actual team composition, but it works out great. I think last week we should have won 3-0 against Dignitas, but we fucked up. We made a mistake on the 3rd map, and when they kind of found out about our meta and they came back and then we lost. But yeah, like today we shot very good games overall, I would say. Just the 2nd game was a bit of a fiesta, but overall I'm happy with the result from today, of course.
Walk me back to that 2nd game for a bit, because you guys were actually in the lead, and then you tried to make a sneaky boss call at the top, showing with the other 3 heroes in the middle and kind of trying to distract Trick there. And they just surprised you moving top, and you were a bit too late on that rotation. But it looked for a long time that like you would lose that game. You lost 2 keeps, you were really down to the wire, and then you were able to turn that around. It just seems you guys can't lose on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Yeah, it seems to be hard for us. I don't know exactly why, but I'm fine with it if we have a signature map, kinda. But yeah, like talking about the boss play, like I had a feeling that someone was standing in the bush, but I wasn't 100% sure, and I didn't spell check it because I felt like we need all the DPS we can get. And they also made a small mistake in the middle of the map, like the 3-man kinda should have backed us up much earlier, but instead we were kinda running around, running circles in the mid lane, so this wouldn't have happened if we did it play out properly.
So Okay, one last question. We talked a lot about how this match is going to be super important for you and Tricked, since the loser will start to have really think a bit about, okay, what happens if we drop into the Crucible spots, whereas the winner can, of course, attempt to set themselves up for a good spot in the playoffs. With how you guys play right now, but also keeping in mind that the new patch is going to hit soon, how do you feel are your chances to make it to the mid-season brawl at this point?
So I would say if we are keeping up our game like we do right now, and if Method, like if we win on, I think on Sunday we play against Method.
Yeah.
If we win against Method, I think we have very, very good chances to actually make it to the mid-season brawl. Like maybe even with a direct seed, like maybe with a second seed, it depends. But then it requires Fnatic and Zealots to kind of lose some games or even lose against us. But like Zealots, I would say they're kind of strong, but we can beat both teams. We can beat pretty much any team, I would say right now.
All right, awesome. First of all, again, congratulations. It's good to have you guys back in the interviews and on the winning streak, and also glad to hear the confidence there.
You touched on it a little bit. Of course, Sunday you are facing off against Method. What's your confidence level in terms of beating them? I mean, you just mentioned you could beat any team you want, but Method in particular, what do you think is going to happen on Sunday?
So Method last week they lost to Leftovers. It's a bit surprising, of course, but Leftovers actually stepped it up quite big. Like they're actually a very good team right now, I would say. But they've always been, but they didn't find the consistency, I would say.
Sure.
So Method, I think they did a role swap, if I'm not mistaken. But I think I'm not allowed to talk about this publicly. But we didn't scrim them obviously this week, so I cannot tell about their power level. I cannot tell much. But as I said, if we play our A game, I think we can just beat them. Like, I think it will be a close series regardless. I don't think it will be a 3-0 for either side. Like they did it against us in the first phase, but I think we can win the series 3-1 or maybe even 3-0 if they play poorly.
Well, we look forward to that. That'll be on Sunday. So you have 2 days to get set up and ready for that match. But before I let you go, Nurok, of course, being the winner, you have to come up here and give us a shout out. So let's deliver.
So a big shout out to all our fans who still did believe in us, even when we struggled quite a bit in the first 5 play weeks. We are kind of back. I hope so, at least. A shout out to my family. They are watching the games, actually. They are supporting me. A shout out to my girlfriend. She's also always watching. A shout out to our sponsors, Alienware, Monster Energy. Yeah, I think that's HyperX. I think that's kind of it.
Don't forget your shout out to
And if you guys,
Sylvanas.
a shout out to the Sylvanas painting. I think if we ever win next week, you guys gonna see some progress. I will force Anastasia to draw.
A live drawing in the background while you're having the interview.
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm gonna do that, yeah.
Well, congratulations, Nurok, and to Team Liquid for getting their big win today over Tricked Esports. Now they have to win, because I want to see progress in Sylvanas. We have Zelia Part 2 story that has to be delivered on, and now we have Team Liquid.
The first part.
No, we'll watch the recap together. We'll remember the first part of that story, because it was a good one. Let's go ahead and talk about tomorrow, Saturday. More matches coming your way.